All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Faye here with ListedKit. If you've never heard of ListedKit before, it is a transaction management software that uses AI to reduce data entry significantly across your files. Our AI assistant, Ava, helps you do everything from reading contracts to creating timelines and then helping you manage them at scale. So I'm excited to show everyone how it works here shortly. But before we do that, I'm excited to introduce AJ De Leon, who is here with us today to help us talk through how AI is impacting the way that transaction management is being handled and how that shift has been happening in the last couple of years. So yeah, on that note, AJ, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience here, and talk
Yeah,
a little bit about what you do.
yeah. And hello everyone. So regardless whatever time zone you belong with, I'm really grateful and thrilled that you guys are here with Fe. So my name is AJ Delion. Uh, I am a real estate virtual assistant and I am a co-founder of a VA agency here in the Philippines. So um I am also helping aspiring virtual assistants all over the world to unleash their skills, right? And through this AI, this is targeting most of the real estate virtual assistant, most specialists in the transaction coordination field, which is very helpful and very timely as of this moment because I think um months ago I don't have any news, or I don't have this information that we have an AI that we can use inside the transaction. I know there's a few, but it is not somehow really smart just like this. But Faye and I will deep dive in later today on how we can leverage this AI as a transaction coordination and how it will change the world of real estate, most especially in transaction coordination, right, Faye?
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for that. So before we dive in, I do want to share with everybody that we have a Q&A feature and a chat where you can drop questions along the way, and we're going to address them at the end of the webinar, once we get through the demo. So, AJ, a few questions for you to get us kind of warmed up. Starting
Let's
high
go for
level,
it.
you've been in the industry for a while now. You've seen the TC role kind of evolve in different ways. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how it's changed in the last like 3 years that you've been doing this work.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I've been doing transaction coordination for couple of years. I think turning 5 years on March. So it's not a new thing for me, but there's always a learning curve since real estate is fast paced and everything is changing with the guidelines, with the ruling, something like that. So it's evolving, right?
Mhm.
Along with the evolving of the technology, right? The transaction coordination is also evolving with the technology. However, I noticed that there's no platform or a specific platform or AI that could cater the needs of transaction coordination. There are some platforms that there's an integration of AI, but it is not like a big chunk of help to us. It's just like a side set of things. You know what I mean? It's just like a mini type of thing. It's just like a small help of with our tasks. But gladly, when I discovered this, or try this platform, the listed AI kit, it's very helpful. The listed kit, rather, it's very helpful because what it does, it really makes your life really easy, because instead of you doing manual work, it will just you will just work smart, right? And it works smart in terms of you will be saving your time. At the same time, have a consistent tone of messaging and consistent format and template when you're trying to send the timelines and an email. So
Yeah.
the transaction coordination does not it's not something that evolved in along with the AI at first. they're late, I think, because
Yeah.
it is something that it's easy to navigate that world of transaction coordination. Because if we're going to talk about it, deep dive transaction coordination, it needs a human touch and a manual work, so we can maintain accuracy when it comes to timeline and due dates, because we don't want to mess up with the due dates, right? And
Mhm.
with the deadlines, because that's something that is really critical or crucial when it comes to real estate.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm curious, like, how did you do it when you first started doing this? You said you've been doing this for like 35 years. You've been in the industry. Um, Before AI, before automation, like, what did that look like for you?
Yeah, to be honest with you, Feb,
Hmm.
I'm still doing the manual work. Like,
Yeah.
because I am a very meticulous person,
Hmm.
I need to make sure that the dates are correct, because if I will just rely on the contract, sometimes there's a counter offers that really
Yeah.
counters what's really inside the contract. So I still have to check those counter offers, or if there's an addendum regarding with the dates. So it requires a still a manual work with the use of AI. But this was gonna be
Yeah.
like a big help, because if we're going to use this one, all of the dates, all of the pertinent information that you need
Hmm.
inside the contract, I think you don't have to read it anymore thoroughly, but you can just have a glimpse, right? And just to verify, because
Yeah.
you have to check bazillion times before you change everything. But um
Yeah.
I'm
100%.
I am using this one moving forward, because I think this will gonna be a game changer for me in terms of getting the dates and information inside the contract, which is really cool. I actually discussed this one with my real estate agent, and he said that this is cool because this is something that they haven't um talked about or heard about, that
Yeah.
there's a tool or an AI for transaction coordinators.
Yeah. So you coach a lot of VAs as well. What's the most common struggle that you're hearing? What's keeping them stuck maybe at lower volumes of files that's preventing them from scaling their business and how much they can manage
Yeah, yeah.
time?
So for me, I coach most of the time with VAs, right?
Mhm.
So, but in terms of my coaching, I don't coach them like a thorough real estate transaction in I mean, because every state has their own process, and every state have their own template of documents as per the contract and the listing agreement.
Hmm.
But I would say in the perspective or in the lens of transaction coordination, what is really the struggle is that number one is they're having a hard time to read the contracts, I think. So because contracts, if you're going to manage the multiple transactions, and then you're reading maybe 30, no, it's overwhelming, maybe 5 to 10 contracts, for example. It's really overwhelming, right? But through the use of this platform, I think they will be having a much more ease and a much more confidence on becoming a transaction coordinator, because they have some sort of help and reliance with the tool. And I think this is a good thing, because if a person would gonna apply to a position for transaction coordination, and they would introduce this AI tool as part of their training, this is something that could build leverage on their profile. But yeah, to answer your question, it's more of
Mhm.
reading what is inside the contract. That's one thing that
Yeah.
really helps them. Because if you're going to read the contract, most especially with the dates, it's not all those information, they're not on the same page. You know what I mean? They're scattered all around together. So
Yeah.
you need to read through each section so you would identify those dates, right?
So
But
there is
this
a little bit of a learning curve when you get a new contract in, kind of where you
it
find those
is,
sources.
and some of the states they are changing their contract time to time, and it's really,
Mhm.
a learning curve as well for me as someone who is in the industry as well. So
Yes.
this AI would really help us, to work smart, right? To got all the dates. Okay, I have all the dates. I just have to check it one more time.
Yeah.
Not unlike doing manual work that I have to read it again, put write down the dates. I have to go back and cross check. It's
Yeah.
a less of a work.
You mentioned something that was interesting. I'd love to dive in deeper. You said AI can give leverage to your business. Do you mind like unpacking that a little bit more for the
Yeah, yeah.
audience
I
here?
would love to talk about it
Yeah.
because aside from doing a work with my agent, I am also helping agents side by side. So I also TC files with other agents that
Hmm.
beside with my personal client or my long-term client. So when we say leverage, because I could use this tool to tell them that I am expert on what I am doing. You know what I mean? Because it would take time for a person to trust you, um, to trust you in terms of work and to hire you, right? And I think there's a leverage in terms of hiring me because if they would know that I'm using an AI tool and it is something good with the ear, because I mean, most of the people right now are crazy or really into AI. And when
Yeah.
they hear that that's an AI for transaction coordination, this is something that would really tickles their mind and make them interested, because if they would know that there's an AI with a transaction involved, they would think that the work, it's much more faster and easier, and there's an ease, you know what I mean? And that's something that most of the real estate agent wants, right? They don't want like a bumpy road when they're doing transaction, and I think nobody wants that, right? So when we have this AI, it will help you personally to work smoothly and faster. And on the perspective or in the lens of the real estate agent, they will have an ease and peace at the same time that I have someone that I can trust, because he or she is expert in what he's doing, to the point that he can use AI to do to implement it on the workflow process as a transaction coordinator.
Yeah. And I would think there's also kind of a benefit to staying on top of the new wave of AI and
Exactly,
evolving with
exactly.
the technology and being able to prove that to your clients as well. So, yeah, I
Absolutely.
100% agree with you. So if you had to pick the three kind of core workflows that TCs should be looking at automating first, you already mentioned kind of the contract reading. Are there any other things that come to mind in terms of like kind of what needs to stay human or manual versus what can be a little more automated in terms of how it works?
Yeah. I think what is really to stay to be manual, and I
Mhm.
hope, maybe ListedKit can implement this one. I love the way that it scanned the dates and I can just simply look at it. It's super easy, and then I can just cross-check it for double reference because I don't have to read it again. I just have to cross-check it. That's the thing.
Mhm.
But my point is that should be manual, the cross-checking, right? Because it
Yeah.
still needs a human touch. That's something that we cannot remove. That's something that I think irrevocable when you are trying to do a transaction coordination. But I think something that we could automate is that if we could finalize the dates with the ListedKit AI, can you educate me if we could also integrate calendars and then the
Hmm.
dates would automatically included on the
We do
calendars?
that. It's there.
I, that's something that is really interesting,
Yeah.
because if you're doing a manual calendar thing inside your calendar, I think it is not smart. That's something that we can I mean we can automate, and that's something that is really good with the listed kit, right?
Yeah.
So I love that one. But to answer your question, cross-checking of dates and making sure the dates are correct before submitting or before sending it via email, that's something that you should stay manual. But the dates, it could be automated, which happens to be like a feature here in ListedKit, which is a phenomenal feature, I would say.
Awesome. I appreciate you saying that. You had defined transaction coordination as like high on this human touch. I'm curious like how that impacts your way of thinking what's AI and what's like more my relationship with my client in terms of how you approach like transaction management in your business.
I love that question. I will explain it in a way in a hierarchy we're in.
Hmm.
Here's the real estate agent, whether
Yeah.
he or she are representing the buyer or seller side, or this is the way deal agent. I am the transaction coordinator. AI is my assistant.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I just don't want to think that I don't have an assistant as well, right? But
Right.
I am really happy right now that through the use of this ListedKit, I have now my assistant on my side. It is not something that will gonna replace my job because, like what I've said, a human work. I mean, the transaction coordinator needs human work and human touch, and that AI cannot replace somebody. And AI needs a person in order for it to function, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not scared of using this AI because again, it would not replace me. Perhaps it helps me to look like I'm expert on what I am doing, and I would be able to work smart and faster when I'm using this. So I think that's it. In a way those things that I mentioned, I think this is a game changer in the world of transaction coordination, more
Hmm.
specifically in the world of real estate. And I really love this platform because I never heard about an AI about transaction coordination, honestly, Faye. I am a transaction coordination a coordinator.
Hmm.
I am aware about real estate. I'm aware with the AI, and this is the first AI tool that I ever heard about transaction coordination specifically. Like this is insane.
Ooh, I think I'm lagging there a little bit. Did I freeze? It was me. Cool. Well, after all that praise and everything we've been talking about ListedKit, I think that's a good transition to jump into the demo. What do you think?
Yeah,
Unless
I
you have
think
other
so.
things
I
to
think
cover.
that
All right.
I think they are excited, and I think there's some questions on the chat. I'm not sure, but um maybe later we can address some questions. And I think questions
Yeah.
will be fire up questions maybe once we have the demo and show them how this amazing platform works and how it's gonna change their life once they step in this tool.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me share my screen here. All right. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Sorry, you're muted.
Sorry, yeah, I can see your
Okay,
screen.
awesome. Well, the plan here is I'm gonna do kind of a full walkthrough of the platform, and then I'd love for you, AJ, to kind of pitch in and kind of add comments or maybe thoughts around how a TC could actually use this in their day-to-day. And then we'll jump into those Q&A. So for everybody watching, what I'm looking at now is essentially your AI assistance dashboard. So you'll be able to see everything coming up, right? From tasks to deadlines to upcoming closings, active listings with a progress bar of how far along and whether you're on track or off track for each transaction. So gives you kind of a at a glance view. What I'm really excited to show you here is how this transaction gets created into the system and how that contract is read and the timeline's created. Everything AJ was kind of mentioning before. He did send me over a contract that I'm going to use here to demo for you guys. I believe it's a California contract. Is that
It's a
correct?
California contract. And maybe let's
Cool.
can contextualize everything first, Feb, before we dive in with this with the walkthrough. Just wanted to let you know, guys, before we dive in, the difference between the listing agreement and the purchase agreement, right?
Mhm.
So listing agreement is a contract that being used by the listing agent or a real estate agent who represent the seller or someone who wants to sell their house. So that's the paperwork for before hitting the property in the market. But the
Mhm.
purchase agreement, it is a contract that being used by the buyer's agent or by the selling agent or an agent who is representing the buyer or those home buyer or those people who want to purchase a property. So this is a very critical because there are a lot of dates inside.
Hmm.
which is very critical, and that's something that we're going to walk through. And in California, Faye, I'm not sure what state you belong with, Faye. Sorry, I'm not aware of. Again, you're
We're in,
Central Time, right?
yes, we're in Alabama.
Were you guys in Alabama?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in California. So the contract there, it's not something that's really easy to read. Sometimes they are 29 pages long, including some other, side disclosures and documents. But
Hmm.
as far as the contract, I think they are 17 pages. Correct me if I'm wrong. And
Yeah.
it's kind of long with some other states. Sometimes they're just 8 to 7 pages. Mine are 17 pages, mind you. You're going
Yeah.
insane.
It's a pretty long contract to be
It
manually
is.
reviewing every single time, especially if you have
Exactly,
multiple at once.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Which also brings me to one thing I wanted to call out here is we have the ability for the AI. Ava will be able to read your counteroffers, your addendums, and understand what the finalized timeline looks like,
Oh
um,
my
and
gosh.
extract the
Is it?
final purchase price. So you can upload more than just your purchase agreement, and she'll be able to sort through and create an accurate summary
And
of the
and I love that we can upload multiple files in here and
transaction.
summarize everything.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
really, really amazed. Oh my gosh, because I thought I have to compress it in one PDF so Ava could, you know what I mean, could
No.
read all the things. So I could
Uploaded the
put
same
multiple
way you get
files.
it from your agent. Just drop it in there.
Oh my gosh, this is insane.
Yeah. So the first thing we're gonna see Ava pull for us is the executed date. So as many of you might know, that's the most important date to get right before you can build the timeline, because a lot of the timeline dates are going to be referencing this one. So we want to make sure that AI got it right. And to AJ's point, you're the reviewer, right? Like the pattern here is going to be AI is going to be pulling as much information as it can from the document, and then you're going to be kind of have the end say on what gets processed. You'll also have your contract here at all times so that you can easily side by side reference whether it's correct or it isn't. So it looks like the acceptance date was 7/21, pulled from
Let's see.
section 34D, page 16. Over here. Does that look correct?
Yes. Can you scroll down? When was the agent signed the paperwork? Yeah, it's right. It's the 21st. They all signed on 21st. So acceptance dates. So the
Cool.
acceptance date, it is all the party. It's when was the buyer? Oh, sorry. When was the seller and the listing
Mhm.
agent accepted the offer of the list of the buyer's agent or the selling agent?
Yeah. So we got that right. If it wasn't right, you can edit it, of course. But in this case, we're going to continue. Which one are we representing here? The buyer, the seller?
The buying
Okay.
side.
So we're on the buying side. And then is this a residential contract?
It is a residential.
Cool. So it detected that, correct. I'm going to keep going here. So the next thing that Ava is going to do is she's going to go through your contract and pull all the property details she can find, any information about parties associated to the transaction, financial information, whether that's deposits or agent commissions, purchase price, counters, anything related to finances. And then in addition to that, she's also going to be looking for terms. Um, so you'll see here, she's already kind of streaming live the different things that she's recognizing, whether the property's located, who the buyer is, who the buyer agent is, etc. So here we go. I'm gonna scroll through AJ, and if you want to point out um, things that stand out or where you kind of want to stop and review,
Mm-hmm.
be great.
I think, yeah.
Um, so you'll see it's a pretty like robust summary here. It's identifying that it does have an HOA, that it's not tenant occupied. It's also creating all of the parties for us. It's pulling their email, their address. If there was phone numbers in there, it'll also associate those to the contacts. Now, if it's a agent or a vendor or somebody you've worked with in the past, she'll actually remember that you worked with them in the
Oh,
past and pull in their additional contact information. So you're never going to
that's
have to
nice.
re-enter like email addresses or phone numbers or any type of, um, I guess, information about a party, which is
Love
really
it.
nice. We'll see here that your financial summary, same thing. You can click on it and it'll tell you exactly where it pulled it from, actually scroll you to the page where it found it. So really making this review step super fast and easy.
I
Um,
know, I know, I know. This is nice.
yeah, pretty robust, all the different numbers that it pulled here. Anything stands out, AJ? Does this all look accurate to you?
It is, and I love that I can see the source of that particular value that we have.
Hmm.
So I don't have to open another screen anymore and open my contract and compare the dates. So it
Yeah.
actually referencing me on side by side what I have to finalize. So it's much more of an easy work for me. And as I watch everything right now, Ava, again, my mind is blowing up right now.
Awesome. And then we do have an additional term section where she'll identify whether different contingencies apply or don't apply based on the contract terms. Um, cool.
Can
So,
I ask a question, Fe?
yeah, go ahead.
So for example, for the earnest money deposit, when it says after 3 days after acceptance date.
Hmm.
So in the ruling of real estate, if the date falls under weekend, it falls on the next working days. Does Ava also consider that thing?
Yeah, great question. We have a trainer to understand calendar days versus business days, so she will be able to
Oh
consider
my
how the
gosh.
count needs to be calculated.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. That's amazing because as an AI, I thought that only limit is okay. They are human. It's just an AI. It just count. They just count the days as numbers, but they don't consider the business days and something like that. But knowing that feature,
Hmm.
knowing that feature that they could also identify the business days, which is super duper helpful. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I have, multiple under contracts right now, and I process everything. Once I have an under contract transaction, I'm gonna definitely upload that contract inside, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy using it.
Good to hear. You can also upload listing agreements. So in that initial screen, Ava will be able to determine whether you're handling a listing or an under contract transaction and process it accordingly. But we all know these under contract transactions are have a more complicated timeline in them. So in that
It is.
sense, that's why we wanted a demo with the purchase agreement, just so you can see the full value of the platform. Um, so yeah, how do all the dates look? Does anything stand out? Any that you don't typically pull, maybe, that is like nice to have.
Um, I think what I just always putting is because the most important are the contingency dates,
Hmm.
but the insurance contingency review of seller's documents, it's smart that they can pull all of those details as an additional, guideline where they're
Yeah,
trying to access, I mean, to review the dates. But
yeah.
can you scroll up a bit? Does it pull the inspection, yeah, investigation, the loan and appraisal contingency? I hope it does.
It should be in here.
Yeah. The loan, which is the under 8A,
8A.
8A, and the appraisal, which is under 8B, the 12 and 10th day. I hope they could also pull that one.
Yeah. I might have missed that one. If anything was missed, you can always add it here and just tell her what the calculation is. And it'll go ahead and calculate that based on the executed date. So you don't even
Okay.
have to calculate it on your own. And then there is a memory component, so anything you add during intake, she'll remember to look for it moving forward. So you're not constantly having to add stuff if she missed something in the first pass. Um,
Got it. And I'm just wondering maybe if it is her first time to upload the California contract on your system.
yeah, it is. On
Okay,
my
that's
account, at
why.
least, it is.
It
Yes.
is. That's the reason,
We're
right? Why
putting her
we
through the ringer right now.
uh-huh.
Love it. Okay, so we're gonna jump into planning our workflow now that we've reviewed our timeline and we have all of our details in the system. The next thing that Ava is going to do is actually try to find the most applicable document list that you have in your account. If you don't have one, you can upload one. It can be a screenshot, it can be a PDF. We use AI to actually turn that into a list that then gets applied to the contract, so there's no setup needed on that end. Or you can kick off with an AI generated list. Just tell Ava, hey, generate it yourself, and then
So
make.
tell me more something about that feature. I think it's I'm a little bit lost on this one.
Yeah, so document checklist is essentially just a list of like a punch list of documents I need to collect to get this to
Oh,
closing, right?
okay.
So different brokerages, I'm sure, give you a list of required documents that need to be collected, that you follow for every transaction.
Yeah, like the list of seller disclosure, something like that
Exactly.
that we
Mhm.
okay.
So that'll be the list that you give Ava here, and then she'll remember that's your list moving forward. Or you can just say, actually, I don't have one. Let me just generate with AI and tweak it to my liking, and then save that to use moving forward. So pretty customizable there. Ideally, like as you're using Ava, she's learning the different nuances of how you use what type of checklist you use for different things. And then you never have to kind of retell her. So
Mm-hmm.
always like a one-time thing. We'll see here, she's actually applying the document list to the transaction. It's already kind of adding specific descriptions based on what we just reviewed. And then for the ones that had due dates associated to them in my template, she actually went ahead and added those. Um,
Okay.
so now we're going to look at something similar for the tasks, where same thing, it'll see if you have a task list that's similar state, in this case, also California, also buying, also under contract. So she's like, actually, this could be a good list to use. If that's not the case, you can always upload your own. I'm actually okay with her using this one, so I'm going to let her do that. And she's going to go through and calculate all the due dates based on the rules that I had already saved. So you're not actually having to edit due dates or edit tasks. She already has that in the system and can calculate the due dates based on the timeline that you're managing.
Love it.
Give her a few seconds here. Um, Cool. So as she streams, you can already see there's a little bit of customization in the description. We have our due dates, our deadlines that are being referenced, and then you'll also
Yeah.
see email tags come up. Did that catch your eye over there?
Mm-hmm.
Those email tasks actually, what that means is on the day that the task is due, in this case, 7/24/2025, Ava will go ahead and draft that email for you. So in the morning, she'll email you, hey, I realized you have 5 emails due today. I went ahead and drafted them for you. You'll go to your account. All you have to do is review and send.
I
So
told
again, to
you.
your
I told
point.
you. Illicit Kid is my assistant. Like what I've said,
Yeah,
right?
to your point, like she kind of does the legwork for you, but then you're the reviewer and nothing gets sent to your client without you seeing it first. So, yeah, that's before. Do you want me to just go ahead and open the file or any questions?
Yeah, I love it. I
Here?
mean, I love
Cool.
how they would also even the utility transfers. That's something that very intric very it's very how can I say that? I cannot imagine that even that particular thing, which is very important in inside a transaction, could be
Yeah.
also some sort of a template, right? A task that listed kit could build, right?
Hmm.
This is something that is really, really, really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna jump in and open this file and show you what that looks like inside a ListedKit. So now that we're in the file, right? It took us a few minutes to just get all the information in here. We even had some back and forth conversation. But now the file's created in the system, we have our kind of traditional transaction management experience in the middle where you can check off tasks, You can look at the timeline. You can at a glance see the details and the parties that are associated to that contract, right, in your documents list. Oops, what happened here? There we go. Where you can kind of see what's missing and how the documents are trending to get you to closing. And then on the right, you actually have your interaction with your AI assistant. So you can do, Ava can actually do anything you can do. So you can say things like, hey, Ava, the closing got pushed back for a week. Go ahead and adjust my timeline accordingly based on the purchase agreement. And she'll actually do it. Or, hey, I'm actually going to be out of office. Can you reassign this to my team member? She'll go ahead and do that.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. So it also like a collaborative, there's a collaborative
yeah,
or a collaboration access on this one, just like, you
yeah.
know, what we're doing.
There is. So you can do like kind of like admin stuff in bulk just by asking her to do things. You can say, hey, share my timeline to my calendar, to your point earlier. She'll go ahead and create those calendar events on your calendar.
Okay.
And then I'll show you different tools that she has built in. So one of them is email. She can send emails to any transaction party by you just prompting her or by the task being due, and she'll just pre-draft it. So here I said, write welcome email to the buyer. She already knew who the buyer was, and she already knew what template I like to use for that. So she went ahead and filled it out with all my information.
Quick question.
And
Does it
because, yeah,
have
go ahead.
does it have like a voice feature, just like a microphone, so you can just command it through voice?
Not at the moment, but you could use your dictation on
Yeah,
your
I
computer.
have it. I have an AI that I'm using to use dictation. That's one
Yeah.
something that I can, but maybe, I'm think, and I believe ListedKit is also doing some sort of improvement. Maybe that's something that you guys can do, like a microphone icon to use
Yeah, for sure.
dictation.
For sure. Kind of like how ChatGPT allows you to talk to it. You have like a back and
Exactly.
forth conversation.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's definitely something we're looking at. But yeah, you can note you'll notice my signature's already in there. You can have multiple signatures if you work with different agents that require different branding. That's a possibility, and then you can just toggle between the two. Ava would
How about the email address that will appear when you send an email? It is something that you use when you register inside.
So the email that it'll come from when you send emails through ListedKit is going to be the one that's connected to the account. So through your Gmail integration, whichever email address you choose to connect, that's the one that's going to start sending emails from.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Um, cool. So there we go. You can include a transaction summary. So Ava actually goes ahead and creates a transaction summary PDF for every transaction you create in the system. It's very generic, minimal branding. It'll just give you kind of a full summary. Sorry, guys. I don't know why this is being buggy on me today. Um, oh, all right. Well, I'll show you that in a second when this stops being crazy. Um, it's basically just a PDF of this that we approved, right? With a timeline and my parties and the different details of the transaction. So you can attach that to any email with your welcome email, and your client will be able to have that for their records.
Uh-huh. And
Another thing,
is there a way that I can rename those files that is under contract the way that how I do my naming convention? Like for example, I use the first name of the client
mhm,
dash the street number and street address. Is it something that we can be able to to edit, or
for
is
the
it
email.
some no on the side? Because I can see that it
Oh,
says
yeah.
2274 and Route 9, something like that. Is it something
Yep.
that I can
You'll just
edit?
double click here and edit the transaction name.
Love it. Yeah, because I have my own naming convention that I want to follow when I'm doing transactions.
Yeah, makes sense. So this is an example of what I was saying with the calendar. All I said was share the closing to my calendar and invite my agent. She already knows that I'm on the buying side. We told her that at the beginning, and then who the agent is. So she went ahead and created this calendar event for me. You can actually click on the opening calendar and it'll take you to your Google Calendar where it was created.
Love
So
it.
you can do all that directly from the system.
Okay. So when they set the due date inside the calendar, are
Mhm.
they setting it on a specific time frame, or they just set it like an all day task, or it's just like an all day event?
If you're vague with it and say, just add my deadlines, it'll be an all-day event, but you can specify the time you want her to add it, and she'll respect that.
Okay,
Um,
because I wanna, because on my end, I'm still
mhm.
doing the manual work for the date. That's why I
Yeah.
love this feature, and I love that it automatically do the all day, because I don't want to block my calendar just for the specific due date. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it would be a smart view for me just to see it on the all day feature. So when I check my calendar, oh okay, I have to, but I don't have to do that since Ava will be able to remind me what are the when I log in and have a
Mhm.
glimpse for the timeline. Oh, it's the date today, and I have the email. Just have to verify it. Hit send, something like that. That's a
Yeah.
very works. It's just like a one
100%.
stop shop of everything. A fair, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's the plan. And then another thing I wanted to show is the document intelligence. So you're actually able to throw in any document in here and run a compliance scan for it. So it'll create a report telling you, are there any missing signatures, any missing information, anything that doesn't match information of your transaction. And then you'll have this review screen side by side with the contract as well, same as we were doing it before. And you can dismiss issues, you can review and make sure that that she's not addressing something that maybe you left off on purpose. And then
Uh-huh.
once that's done, she'll actually suggest next steps for what you can do to handle them, whether that's reaching out to get clarification or it can be something like reaching out to the agent to let them know that there's this error and it needs to be fixed. So it really kind of streamlines that part of the work as well.
And you know what? While I'm here,
Hmm.
I'm really excited to know how much it costs to have this platform, because this is gonna be a game changer,
Yeah,
my word.
good question. I'm sure a lot of people have that question as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, and
So
we
I
have
can
a
dive
lot.
into that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, and we don't want to rush how it works, because I know you have still have a lot of things to share that we're really blown up their mind how listed kit works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, the rest is just like explore with the different ways. Th you can throw documents in here. You can say things like summarize this in my email, and she'll be able to read the document and actually create an email with bullet points of what the document had, and then address it to somebody. So things that come up on the fly, she'll be really helpful in turning that into a transaction specific action
Yeah.
item. So yeah, document intelligence, calendar integration, Gmail, sending emails. Those are kind of like the main tools that Ava can help you with throughout the transaction, and they can
Yeah.
be
And
powerful.
even the use of AI in here, what I really
Mhm.
like is I don't have to do the manual work with the AI, because I can still use the AI when I have contracts, you know what I mean? Like I can
Yeah.
upload it into the chat GPT. What we really like about this is they read the contract. So I think the model of your AI is already have the brain, and we have the AI in here. And if you ask the AI, the source of the AI is the information that you upload, something like that.
Hmm.
So it works side by side, and it lets up a manual work to re-uploading the document again and ask same question. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
seems like all the information are just there. You just have to ask the AI, so it give you the information right away. It's just like my
Yeah.
assistant, like what I've said. Hey, draft something for me. Hey, can I know the dates again for this one? It's just like your assistant or right hand as a transaction coordinator. I think that's how I see it.
Yeah. No, 100%. That's that's her. That's Ava. That's your AI assistant.
Love Ava, love Ava. Okay.
We love Ava. Cool. So I know you asked about pricing, so I'm gonna go over that real quick since we've gone through all the um demo features. Pricing is honestly pretty simple. We don't have monthly fees. You don't pay a flat rate. It's just per credits. So however much you need to use is how much we would recommend you buying. Credits don't expire, so you can bundle up. One goes for $9.99, and then it discounts all the way from 14% off to 60% off, depending on how many you buy at once. So if you wanted to bundle up for like the next quarter, then you can just get a bigger bundle for a
So
cheaper
it's it's
price.
it's it's something like a prepaid, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And then credits, we don't have like AI usage limits. So the credits will only get used when you create a transaction, whether that's to start a listing or to go under contract.
Quick
Everything else is
question.
included.
What
Mhm.
if the contract falls or didn't push through?
Yeah.
So would that count?
Yes, good question. So if you have, say, a listing that went under contract and then that fell through, you can actually revert it to active listing without losing any of your history. And then upload a new purchase agreement. But yes, at the moment that you upload a new purchase agreement and go under contract again, that's one credit. So going through the whole like contract rating review timeline creation process, that's where the credit gets
The
used.
credit will, okay,
Mhm.
that makes
Everything
sense.
else is included. So you can upload as many documents, send as many emails. We don't upcharge for any of that. And you can invite team members as well.
Okay.
Mhm. Cool. So I'm gonna stop sharing here. I love your closing thoughts, AJ, before we like jump into Q&A.
Yeah. Before I ask question, another question. It's
Hmm.
when it comes to the listed kit, credits means one transaction or one listing agreement. That's how you define credits, right? Okay.
Yeah. The way we explain it is basically if you're working with a seller, it'll probably be two credits. If you're working with a buyer, just one.
Okay.
Because it's when you create the listing and then when you go under contract.
Okay. And we can just key in our cards in there, and then if I need to buy one credit, oh, I have it because it's very smart because it doesn't um charge you upfront, you know what I mean, like
Hmm.
other platform, uh,
Yeah.
just to get some money. Like, hey, you need to pay me like this, you can get the service. But here, it's really a direct exchange of service. Well, that's what I'm trying to see in here,
Yeah.
and it's you're getting what you paid for right away, right?
Yeah. Also, I mean, real estate is super seasonal. Like you have crazy months that are super busy and
I
others that are
know
really slow.
some, and then
So
slow
you're not paying a
market.
monthly fee, you're literally just paying for however many you need throughout an extended period of time and use them at
Exactly.
any point. So in that sense, it really aligns with how, yeah, real estate works.
Okay.
All right, so let's address a few of these questions. Um, does this platform know proper dates for all states? Yes. So actually, the AI reads the contracts in real time. So it's not necessarily like looking for specific dates and um, for a specific state. It's not like trained on a specific form or contract. It's just able to understand the file based on what you're giving her in real time. So regardless of which state you're in, our users are all over the US. She'll be able to interpret the contract and build that timeline.
Love it, love it. I love that question, right? It's very
Yeah.
inclusive that it recognizes all states. Like what I mentioned, theses are very particular when it comes to the dates and the format of the contracts, because we all do have different type of format of contracts and
Hmm.
everything, but the gist are all just the same when it comes to the document. But we just want to ask those questions because I'm not sure there are aspiring theses here, or there are theses right now with some other states. Maybe I can
Hmm.
share this video with where I'm part of a group where we are a lot of transaction coordinator.
Yeah.
It's I can share this video and I could literally tell them that this is gonna be a game changer for us as a transaction coordinator.
Yeah. 100%. You should follow up with that video for sure.
Mhm.
Um, can it also read handwritten scanned PA? Yes.
Love it, love it, love
Great
it.
question because
Great
we've
question.
we've
Yeah.
tested her with some contracts, you guys, that they're crazy, like handwritten everywhere, like things are filled out all over the place. So we have actually focused on helping her understand handwritten notes. Now, if it's like a really bad handwriting, might struggle, so make sure to double check the information. Always double check the information. But
Yeah,
yes,
and
she should be able to
I
understand it.
love that fact because it would
Hmm.
bring us on the fact that in the real estate realm, it is not just always a simple and plain vanilla transaction. There are some
Yeah.
other situation that your clients are elderly, you know what I mean? They're aged. So sometimes they're 80s or 90s. Good thing. I have this
Yeah.
transaction that will close this week, today, close of actually today, or maybe next week. And they are 80, 90 years old. So what I did is I just compile all the documents that they need to sign that comes from the buyer side because we're representing the
Yeah.
seller side because they don't do e-signatures. They do sign physically or a wet signature. And I love that question that it's a very smart question that listed kit or Ava could also determine or scan through just like a wet signature. I love that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. And it's so common. I mean, so many people in real estate use handwritten notes on contracts. So
They
there's
do
really no
they
like
do
standard
still
way of
old
filling
school.
them out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, Pauline here has a question. If we represent buyer side only and transaction is canceled, do we get that credit back? So short answer is no. If you've already processed the purchase agreement, that credit's only been already been used. Um, so you would have to revert to active listing and then use another credit to go back under contract. Hopefully that answered your question. Let's see. What will happen if we need to revise the original PA? Does that will use another credit? Um, so it depends if you went through, like if you already changed the status to under contract and process that file, you use the credit. But if you just dropped it in the chat and asked Ava to tell you to check for compliance and check for missing signatures, um, that won't use the credit. So it depends if you've changed the status officially, or if you're just kind of doing the offer back and forth, and then waiting for the executed contract. So we would recommend like transfer to under contract once you have the executed purchase agreement, and you can still keep all your versions of PAs in the document list.
Do you still have other questions?
That's what I'm looking at. I feel like I've answered all of these? Um, I should have been clicking on. Oh, somebody asked for how the summary PDF looks like. So I pulled it up here. I'm gonna share my screen real quick to show you guys what it looks like. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty simple PDF. It'll include the property address, all your deadlines. It is dynamic, so if you've already completed a few deadlines, you can regenerate the PDF and it'll show this has already been completed. It'll have the names of the parties with their roles and then the financing summary as well. Cool.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, thank you, AJ. This has been super helpful. I know we have about 5 minutes, so looking ahead to 2026, how do you see kind of the TC and transaction management world changing? And then if you had one piece of advice you wanted to give our audience here to leave this with, what would it be?
Okay. That's a very good question. Um, because when it comes to transaction coordination, this is a very um good question because most people here in the Philippines or in any other country, they don't know that about transaction coordination. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very unspoken it's a very unspoken role in the world, I think. It's
Yeah.
common in US but not in the other countries. But my advice, I think, is we are dominating the 2026 market, I think, next year through the use of this AI, through the use of listed kit. I think um dominating in a sense that we will have more confidence to work because we
Mhm.
have a system that we could use. Because again, if you are trying to build a business and you don't have a system to use, I think it is something that will not really help you a lot to grow. But having this kind of, having this kind of help,
Mhm.
most especially just like a software, it's a very good help in a sense that all parties are getting benefits, the agent and you at the same time. And I mean, most of the agents that I work with, I'm not trying to generalize, most of agents are all over the place. And this thing makes you really organized, and when they know that you are really organized, they will gonna trust you. Yeah, right. So there's more of a job in here, and I think if I could put this one with my portfolio, other real estate agents will hire me. more
Fair enough. Love that. Cool. So thank you so much for your time today. I think this was really valuable. I loved your thoughts on ListedKit and kind of how you see it playing a role in the TC space and transaction management as a whole. For anybody interested in giving ListedKit a try, your first contract is free, so you can upload it by just going to app.listed.kit.ai. We're also giving you guys a exclusive offer for attending this webinar. So I'm going to drop those details in the chat. And then AJ, the
Ooh, love
audience
it.
wanted to get in contact with you. How would people find you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You can contact me on Facebook. You can message me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. You can follow me through the use of my handle. It's the VA teacher. So when you find me, you can find the relevant information. I spoke in different language, but I try to speak in because most of my audience are Filipinos, but I'm trying to when uploading contents, I'm trying to speak in English because I believe that there are some other audiences, some other part of the world. But yeah, generally, when if you want to connect with me about this platform and have a walkthrough in this one and something like that, and of course the recording of this call, right? A walkthrough how to use this platform. You can get that one inside my community, where you can just join my community and access this recording for free and get the discount code. But I think I love that we have the discount code. I can definitely, can I just get this one and
Of course, you
use
can
it?
use it, AJ. Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Our star guest here. I'm also gonna share my contact info in the chat if it looks like some people have additional questions. So feel free to email me. We can do a one-on-one call or just answer your questions via email. And then I'm also gonna drop AJ's link to his community if you guys are interested. Tycoon Virtual Assistants. If you want to join, is free and he shares a lot of like really good nuggets about transaction management. So, yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I hope you have a great rest of your day and thanks for your time, AJ. This is great.
Thank you so much, Faye, and I appreciate you inviting me on this one. It's really such an honor to be part of this webinar. I know that there is a lot of real estate VA leader here in the Philippines, but I'm glad that you selected me as one of the star of the show as of this moment to highlight your platform. And this is a big milestone for me, and I'm really blown up, and I am not just representing myself here. I'm representing the whole Filipino, or the whole country of the Philippines, that the Filipino talents could also shine through the use of this platform,
Mhm.
most specifically those real estate virtual assistants.
Yeah, for sure. I think the name says it all, right? The VA teacher. That caught my eye. The branding.
Yeah, yeah,
As
yeah,
a
yeah.
marketer myself. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Everyone had a great Thanksgiving if you're in the US, and if not,
Yeah, yeah.
a great
Happy
weekend.
Thanksgiving. Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye, everyone.